My name is Shannon Wilkins, and I have the great pleasure of being the coordinator for the Poetry Out Loud regional finals here in Los Angeles County. And I'm going to introduce our first contestant. Our first contestant is from Bishop Montgomery High School, and it's Irene Asun Abalor.
To Have Without Holding by Marge Piercy. Learning to love differently is hard. Love with the hands wide open. Love with the doors banging on their hinges. The cupboard unlocked. The wind roaring and whimpering in the rooms. Rustling the sheets and snapping the blinds that thwack like rubber bands in an open palm. It hurts to love wide open. Stretching the muscles that feel as if they are made of wet plaster, then of blunt knives, then of sharp knives. It hurts to thwart the reflexes of grab, of clutch, to love and let go again and again. It pesters to remember the lover who is not in the bed, to hold back what is owed to the work that gutters like a candle in a cave without air, to love consciously, conscientiously, concretely, constructively. I can't do it, you say. It's killing me. But you thrive. You glow on the street like a neon raspberry. You float and sail, a helium balloon, bright bachelor's button blue, and bobbing on the cold and hot winds of our breath as we make and unmake in passionate diastole and systole. The rhythm of our unbound bonding. To have and not to hold. To love with minimized malice. Hunger and anger, moment by moment, balanced.
I Am Trying to Break Your Heart by Kevin Young. I am hoping to hang your head on my wall in shame. The slightest taxidermy thrills me. Fish forever leaping on the living room wall. Paperweights made from skulls of small animals. I want to wear your smile on my sleeve and break your heart like a horse or its leg. Weeks of being bucked off, then all at once you're mine. Put me down. I want to call you thine, to tattoo mercy along my knuckles. I assassin down the avenue, I hope to have you forgotten by noon. To know you by your knees, pals side by prayer. Loneliness is a science. Consider the taxidermist's tender hands trying to keep from losing skin, the bobcat grin of the living. Thank you.
Golden Retrievals by Mark Doty. Fetch. Balls and sticks capture my attention seconds at a time. Catch? I don't think so. Bunny, tumbling leaf, a squirrel who's, oh joy, actually scared. Sniff the wind, then I'm off again. Muck, pond, ditch, residue of any thrillingly dead thing. And you? Either you're stuck in the past half our walk thinking of what you can never bring back, or else you're off in some fog concerning tomorrow? Is that what you call it? My work to unsnare time's warp. And wolf, retrieving my haze-headed friend you, this shining bark, A Zen master's bronzy gong calls you here, entirely, now. Bow wow, bow wow, bow wow. Thank you.
Filling Station by Elizabeth Bishop. Ugh, but it is dirty, this little filling station. Oil soaked, oil permeated to a disturbing overall black translucency. Be careful with that match. Father wears a dirty, oil-soaked monkey suit that cuts him under the arms, and several quick and saucy and greasy sons assist him. It's a family filling station, all quite thoroughly dirty. Do they live in the station? It has a cement porch behind the pumps, and on it a set of crushed and grease-impregnated wickerwork. On the wicker sofa, a dirty dog, quite comfy. Some comic books provide the only note of color, of certain color. They lie upon a big, dim doily draping a tabouret, part of the set, beside a big hirsute begonia. Why the extraneous plant? Why the tabouret? Why, oh, why the doily, embroidered in daisy stitch with marguerites, I think, and heavy with gray crochet? Somebody embroidered the doily. Somebody waters the plant, or oils it, maybe. Somebody arranges the rows of cans so that they softly say, so, to high-strung automobiles. Somebody loves us all. Thank you.
Snowflake by William Bear. Timing's everything. The vapor rises, high in the sky, tossing to and fro, then freezes suddenly and crystallizes into a perfect flake of miraculous snow. For countless miles, drifting east above the world, whirling about in a swirling free-for-all, appearing aimless, just like love, but sensing, seeking out its destiny. Falling to where two young skaters stand, hand in hand, then flips and dips and whips itself about to ever so gently land, a miracle across her unkissed lips, as he blocks the wind raging from the south, leaning forward to kiss her lovely mouth. Thank you.
Invitation to Love by Paul Laurence Dunbar. Come when the nights are bright with stars, or come when the moon is mellow. Come when the sun, his golden bars, drops on the hayfield yellow. Come in the twilight soft and gray. Come in the night, or come in the day. Oh, love, whenever you may. And you are welcome. Welcome. You are sweet, oh love, dear love. You are soft as a nesting dove. Come to my heart and bring it at rest as the bird flies home to its welcome nest. Come to my heart when it's filled with grief, or when it's filled with merry. Come with the falling of the leaf, or with the reddening cherry, come when the first year blossoms and blows. Come with the summer's gleams and glows. Come with the winter's drifting snows, and you are welcome. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Trinice Monet Ward, and this is Discrimination by Kenneth Rexroth. I don't mind the human race. I've got pretty used to them in these past 25 years. I don't mind if they sit next to me on streetcars or eat in the same restaurants as long as it's not the same table. However, I don't approve of a woman I respect dancing with one of them. I've tried asking them to my home without success. I shouldn't care to see my own sister marry one. Even if she loved him, think of the children. Their art is interesting, but certainly barbarous. I'm sure if given a chance, they'd kill us all in our beds. And you must admit, they smell. Thank you so much.
I'm Sarah Stucchi, and I'm doing Dancers Exercising by Amy Clampett. Frame within frame, the evolving conversation is dance-like, as though two could play at improvising snowflakes. Six-feathered veined, evanescence, no two, ever alike. All process and no arrival. The happier we are, the less there is for memory to take hold of. Or, memory being so largely a predilection for the exceptional, come to a halt in front of. But finding one evening, on a street not quite familiar, incited November sodden garden, a building of uncertain providence, peering into whose vestibule we were arrested, a frame within a frame, a lozenge of impeccable clarity, by the reflection, no, not of our two selves, but of dancers exercising in a mirror. At the center of that clarity, what we saw was not stillness, but movement. Perfection of memory consisting, it would seem, in the never to be completed. We saw them mirroring themselves, never guessing the vestibule that defined them. Frame within frame contained two other mirrors. Thank you.
The Chimney Sweeper. When my mother died, I was very young, by William Blake. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me, while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, weep, weep. Weep. So, your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. There's little Tom Dacre, who cried, when his hair that curled like a lamb's back was shaved, so I said, hush, Tom, never mind it. For when your head's bare, you know that the soot cannot spoil your white hair. And so he was quiet. And that very night, as Tom was a-sleeping, he had such a sight, that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffins of black. And by came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing they run, and wash in a river, and shine in the sun. Then, naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise upon clouds and sport in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he'd be a good boy, he'd have God for his father and never want joy. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark, and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. Thank you.
My name's Leah Zaharoni, and this is Domestic Situation by Ernest Hilbert. Maybe you've heard about this, maybe not. A man came home and chucked his girlfriend's cat in the wood chipper. This really happened. Dinner wasn't ready on time. A lot of other little things went wrong. He spat on her father, who came out when he learned about it. He also broke her pinky, stole her checks, and got her sister pregnant. But she stood by him, stood strong through it all, because she loved him. She loved him, you see. She actually said that. And then she went and married him. She felt some unique call. Don't try to understand what another person means by love. Don't even bother. Thank you.
This is Movement Song by Audre Lorde. I have studied the tight curls on the back of your neck moving away from me, beyond anger or failure, your face in the evening schools of longing, mornings of wish and ripen. We were always saying goodbye, in the blood, in the bone, over coffee, before dashing for elevators going in opposite directions, without goodbyes. Do not remember me as bridge, nor a roof, as the maker of legends, nor as a trap door to that world where black and white clericals hang on the edge of beauty, twitching their shoulders to avoid other flesh. And now there is someone to speak for them, moving away from me into tomorrows, mornings of wish and ripen. Your goodbye is a promise of lightning in the last angel's hand, unwelcome and warning. Where excuse and endurance mingle, conceiving decision. Do not remember me as disaster, nor as the keeper of secrets. I am a fellow rider in the cattle cars, watching you move slowly out of my bed, saying, we cannot waste time, only ourselves. Thank you.
Bright Copper Kettles by Vijay Seshadri. Dead friends coming back to life. Dead family speaking languages living and dead. Their minds retentive. Their 5 senses intact. Their footprints like a butterfly's. Mercy shining from their comprehensive faces. This is one of my favorite things. I like it so much, I sleep all the time. Moon by day and sun by night find me dispersed deep in the dreams where they appear. In fields of goldenrod, in the city of 5 pyramids, before the empress with the melting face, under the towering plane tree. They just show up. It's all right, they seem to say. It always was. They are diffident and polite. Who knew the dead were so polite? They don't want to scare me. Their heads don't spin like weather vanes. They don't want to steal my body and possess the earth and wreak vengeance. They're dead. Do you understand? They don't exist. And besides, why would they care? They're subatomic, horizontal. Think about it. One of them shyly offers me a pencil. The eyes under the eyelids start faster and faster. Through the intercom, where for so long there was no music, the Right Reverend Al Green is singing. I could never see tomorrow
told about the sorrow.
The Tide Rises, the Tide Falls, by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The tide rises, the tide falls. The twilight darkens, the curlew calls. Along the sea sands damp and brown, the traveler hastens towards the town. And the tide rises, the tide falls. Darkness settles on roofs and walls, but the sea in the darkness calls. The little waves with their soft, white hands efface the footprints in the sands. And the tide rises, the tide falls. Morning breaks. The steeds in their stalls stamp and neigh as the hostler calls. The day returns, but never more returns the traveler to the shore. And the tide rises, and the tide falls. Thank you.
This is Cathedral of Salt by Nick Flynn. Beneath all this, I'm carving a cathedral of salt. I keep the entrance hidden. No one notices the hours I'm missing. I'll bring you here one night. It's where I go when I hang up the phone. Neither you nor your soul is waiting for me at the end of this. I know that. The salt nearly clear after I chisel out the pews. The see-through altar, the opaque panes of glass that depict the station of our cross. Here is the day we met. Here is the day we remember we met. The air down here will kill us, some say. Some wear paper masks. Some still imagine the air above the green trees thick with bees, building solitary nests out of petals. What is the name for this? Ineffable? The endless white will blind us, some say. But what is there to see that hasn't already been seen? Some say it's like poking a stick into a river. You might as well simply write about the stick or the river. Thank you.
Happiness by Jane Kenyon. There's just no accounting for happiness, or the way it turns up, like a prodigal who comes back to the dust at your feet, having squandered a fortune far away. And how can you not forgive? You make a feast in honor of what was lost, and take from its place the finest garment. What you saved for an occasion you could not imagine. And you weep night and day to know that you were not abandoned, that happiness saved its most extreme form for you alone. No, happiness is the uncle you never knew about, who flies a single-engine plane onto the grassy landing strip, hitchhikes into town, and inquires at every door until he finds you, asleep mid-afternoon, as you so often are, during the unmerciful hours of your despair. It comes to the monk in his cell. It comes to the woman sweeping the street with the birch broom, to the child whose mother has passed out from drink. It comes to the lover, to the dog chewing a sock, to the pusher, to the basket maker, and to the clerk, stacking cans of carrots in the night. It even comes to the boulder in the perpetual shade of pine barrens, to rain falling on the open sea, to the wine glass, weary of holding wine.
Father by Edgar Albert Guest. My father knows the proper way the nation should be run. He tells his children every day just what should now be done. He knows the way to fix the trust, he has a simple plan. But when the furnace needs repairs, we have to hire a man. My father in a day or two could land big thieves in jail. There's nothing that he cannot do. He knows no word like fail. Our confidence he would restore, of that there is no doubt. But if there is a chair to mend, we have to send it out. All public questions that arise, he answers on the spot. He waits not till the tumult dies, but grabs it while it's hot. In matters of finance, he can tell Congress what to do. But oh, he finds it hard to meet his bills as they fall due. It almost makes him sick to read the things lawmakers say. Why, father's just the man they need. He never goes astray. All wars he'd very quickly end as fast as I can write it. But when a neighbor starts a fuss, 'tis mother has to fight it. In conversation, father can do many wondrous things. He's built upon a wiser plan than presidents or kings. He knows the ins and outs of every deep transaction. We look to him for theories, but look to Ma for action.
Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the man from foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy, oh, frav just stay, calloo, calais. He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Thank you.
The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here, at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Thank you.
Diameter by Michelle Y. Burke. You love your friend, so you fly across the country to see her. Your friend is grieving. When you look at her, you see that something's missing. You look again. She seems all there. Reading glasses, sarcasm, leather pumps. What did you expect? Ruins? Demeter without arms in the British Museum. Your friend says she believes there's more pain than beauty in the world. When Persephone was taken, Demeter damned the world for half the year. The other half remained warm and bountiful. The Greeks loved symmetry. On the plain, the man next to you read a geometry book. The lesson on finding the circumference of a circle. On circumference, you can calculate the way around if you know the way across. You try across with your friend. You try around. I don't believe in an afterlife, she says. But after Kay died, I thought I might go after her. In case I'm wrong, in case she's somewhere waiting. Thank you.
All Hallows Eve by Dorothea Tanning. Be perfect. Make it otherwise. Yesterday is torn in shreds. Lightning's thousand sulfur eyes rip apart the breathing beds. Hear bones crack and pulverize. Doom creeps in on rubber treads. Countless overwrought housewives, minds unraveling like threads. Try lipstick shades to tranquilize fears of age and general dreads. Sit tight, be perfect, swat the spies. Don't take faucets for fountainheads. Drink tasty antidotes, otherwise, you and the werewolf, newlyweds. Thank you.
Domestic Situation by Ernest Hilbert. Maybe you've heard about this, maybe not. A man came home and chucked his girlfriend's cat in the wood chipper. This really happened. Dinner wasn't ready on time. A lot of other little things went wrong. He spat on her father, who came out when he learned about it. He also broke her pinky, stole her checks, and got her sister pregnant. But she stood by him, stood strong through it all, because she loved him. She loved him. You see, she actually said that. And then she went and married him. She felt some unique call. Don't try to understand what another person means by love. Don't even bother. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Trinice Monet Ward, and this is Gravity Furnace by Francine J. Harris. She wants to set the house on fire. Gas in both hands, gas on the walls. It'd be like to see a torch from its floor. She'd run like light from basement windows, or suck all arms to room ablaze, so housed in gut piping, the copper hollowed, reaching to a black rot at bottom like ants. Maybe she'd crawl in the dark. Low on the belly, maybe she thug out lay low when ink ate walls, lay low like cold she might strip bare. Black glass, sometimes shut, sometimes hide late. She runs from house to ember, a sum of sink. She breathes through flame, a room of spoons, one bar brick, one black-eyed room splatter, one torch spent for each arm. From cold to alley, she heaves hue of concrete into each limb, a house of blue ring flames to mimic. Someone better run. Thank you.
Self-Help by Michael Ryan. What kind of delusion are you under? The life he hid just knocked you flat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. What God hath joined, let no man put asunder. Did God know you'd marry a rat? What kind of delusion are you under? His online persona simply stunned her, as it did you when you started to chat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. To the victors, go the plunder. You should crown him with the baseball bat. What kind of delusion are you under? The kind that causes blunder after blunder. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. And for one moment, the world's a wonder. Just keep it thrilling under your hat. What kind of delusion are you under? You see the lightning, but not the thunder. Thank you.
The Chimney Sweeper, A Little Black Thing Among the Snow by William Blake. A little black thing among the snow, crying, weep, weep, in notes of woe. Where are they, father and mother, say? They are both gone up to the church to pray. Because I was happy upon the heath and smiled among the winter's snow, they clothed me in the clothes of death and taught me to sing the notes of woe. And because I am happy and dance and sing, they think they have done me no injury, and are gone to praise God and his priest and king, who make up a heaven of our misery. Thank you.
A Key to the Dollar Store by Al Young. Just tell me, who the hell am I? What powers do I hold? What right have I to say my or mine or me? All honey glazed, all bulletproofed, and worshipful of any gangster eye. The key to the dollar store hangs on my belt. Yes, my again. And what of roof of bread, of loving laughter? What's in? My vinyl favorite, Booker Little, Vintage, soothes me. He jars our ears with trumpet joy and stuff freed folks stash in cabinets. Never one to make too much of why we love and what. I love my powers. I might put you in my will. Thank you.
This is On the Death of Anne Bront by Charlotte Bront. There's little joy in life for me, and little terror in the grave. I've lived the parting hour to see of what I would have died to save. Slowly, to watch the failing breath, wishing each sigh might be the last. Longing to see the shade of death o'er those beloved features cast? The cloud, the stillness that must part, the darling of my life from me. And to thank God from my heart, to thank him well and fervently. Although I knew that we had lost the hope and glory of our life, and now, benighted, tempest-tossed, must bear alone the weary strife. Thank you.
To thee, Virgins, to make much of time, by Robert Herrick. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, old time is still a-flying, and this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. The glorious lamp of heaven, the sun, the higher he's a-getting, the sooner will his race be run, and nearer he's to setting. That age is best, which is the first, when youth and blood are warmer. But being spent, the worse and worst times still succeed the former. Then be not coy, but use your time, and while ye may go marry. For, having lost but once your prime, you may forever tarry.
Success is counted sweetest, by Emily Dickinson. Success is counted sweetest by those who ne'er succeed. To comprehend a nectar requires sorest need. Not one of all the purple host who took the flag today can tell the definition so clear of victory as he defeated, dying, on whose forbidden ear the distant strains of triumph burst, agonized and clear.
Contraction by Ravi Shankar. Honest self-scrutiny too easily mutates into false memories which find language a receptive host, boosted by boastful embellishments. Self-esteem is raised on wobbly beams, seeming seen as stuff enough to fund the hedge of personality, though personally, I cannot forget whom I have met and somehow wrung for a jot of fugitive juice, trading some ruse for a blot or two. Labored to braid from transparent diction, fiction, quick fix, quixotic fixation as the pulse of impulse is drained through my veins. I tried to live 20 lives at once. Now, one is plenty. Thank you.
It has been just marvelous, and I can't thank all of these fabulous students for all the preparation they have put in. You have all been extraordinary and just given us such a treat. I'm going to start with our runner-up, and our runner-up is Lola Jamin. And our winner this evening is Trinice Monet Ward. I'm going to say goodnight to all of you and thank you for coming.
I feel really good. I love poetry just in general, so this was kind of like very rewarding for me. To kind of be representing LA is something that I truly, truly, truly am grateful for. So yeah, it's amazing.